Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Captain's Table. I am your host, Captain B-Nard, and topic of discussion today is going to be the Battle Hub Draft League Season 6. Yes, the Pidgeys are back to fly once again in Draft League, so today we're going to be doing a complete overview and draft analysis of this season of the league, but we have so much more than just that to discuss. So, first and foremost, I do want to say that I do apologize that my uploads have been pretty scarce these past couple of months here on YouTube. A few months ago, I actually did get a pretty big promotion at my job, and so the last few months have been pretty busy for me. I haven't had a lot of time to record and upload content for you guys. Not only that, but as you guys all know at this point, Scarlet and Violet is pretty close to the end of its life cycle. Some might even say past the end of its life cycle at this point. We haven't had any new Scarlet and Violet content in well over a year and a half at this point, I want to say. So, um, yeah, all those things kind of just contribute to a little bit of a lack of content here on the channel. But I am going to be back to regular uploads for this season in Draft League here, so that's pretty fun and exciting. Um, so yeah, we're gonna do this analysis pretty much the same way we always have. So as I had mentioned, of course, this is season 6 of the Battle Hub Draft League. As many of you already know, I did not participate in season 5 of the Battle Hub Draft League, although I did stay on as a commissioner, where I've been since season 3 as a commissioner here, trying to help things run as uh, smoothly and fun as possible. And so last season, to make a long story short, I decided not to participate because I really wasn't a fan of the format. They decided to do Ubers and high tier Terra, so I wasn't really a big fan of that, and so I decided not to participate. But this time we actually went in the other direction, and of course I had to come back for that because this season we are actually doing low tier. So um, pretty much all of the top level OU and above threats in singles are banned here this season in the league. So um, as you guys know, I do enjoy playing the lower tiers a lot and a lot more than I enjoy playing the higher tiers. So, of course, I had to return to competition for this one. So, pretty excited to be back in competition here. So, having said all of that, we're going to move along and we're going to take a little look at the rules this season. And so, as you guys can see, the rules are pretty similar to what they have been in the past here in the Battle Hub Draft League. So, um, of course, we have 16 participants, and for the draft, obviously, it is what they call a snake draft, which means that participants 1 through 16 will choose their Pokemon in that order, and then the draft order reverses for round 2, where then it goes 16 to 1. So this time around, I actually landed in the number 14 position. So that is actually not too bad in one way because it is close to the end of the wheel, as they call it. And so that means that I will get to pair picks together because my two picks are not too far off. However, it is a negative in some other ways because, as we'll get into in a second here, you really don't get to choose, especially in round 1, exactly the Pokemon that you want. So, but this season we have 105 points in our budget, and we need to draft anywhere between 10 and 11 Pokemon. So we don't have to use all of those points, but we have to hit that 10 Pokemon minimum. And as far as terrestrialization goes, this time around in the league, Pokemon with a point value of 6 points and lower are the only Pokemon that can Terra, and you have to choose 3 Terra types per Pokemon for that. You can have, I believe, up to 2 Terra Captains this season, and their combined point value cannot equal 11, over 11. It has to be 11 or lower. So you could grab like a 6 pointer and a 5 pointer, or, say a 5 pointer and a 4 pointer, 6 pointer and a 4 pointer, something like that. Pretty straightforward, honestly. The general layout of this draft league is very similar to season 4, the last one that I participated in. Although, as I said, the big difference this season is that this is a low tier draft, which means that a lot of the high powered threats are not available. And you'll see that once we get into the team. that a lot of the Pokemon that typically dominate in OU, the overpowered Pokemon, are not around in this league, which is cool because it gives kind of the not as powerful Pokemon that are still cool and strong in their own way and have unique strategies with them more of a chance to shine, which is, of course, what I like about this game. So, before we get into the actual team that I drafted this time around, I need to address a big elephant in the room. So, um, unfortunately, this season, something happened to the Philadelphia Pidgeys. Something that has not ever happened in the entire history of the Philadelphia Pidgeys franchise. So, and this something is not a good something, it is actually a bad something. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do regret to inform you, for those of you who do not know, that for the first time in 10 seasons of Draft League for the Philadelphia Pidgeys, because yes, this is actually my 10th Draft League that I've ever participated in over the years. For the first time ever, our captain, our de facto mascot, our one constant factor in everything in all this in our gameplay is not around this season. And yes, of course, I am talking about the one and the only Captain Gudra. So, unfortunately, as you can see by this meme that I co opted into my own. Unfortunately, Gudra this season was one of the most high power and high point value and highly sought after Pokemon on the draft board this time around due to the fact that it is a low tier Pokemon. It usually sits around RU these last couple of generations, and so our point values were anywhere from 1 to 18, and Gudra was in the 18 point tier. So it was, for the first draft league I've ever participated in, one of the top point value Pokemon on the board. And unfortunately, as I mentioned, we landed in the number 14 position on the draft, which meant that 13 other people got to pick Pokemon before us. And unfortunately, it got to number 11, and someone else decided to draft Gudra. So, for the first time ever, the streak is over, ladies and gentlemen. After 9 seasons of having Gudra, not only having Gudra, but having Gudra as our number 2 pick on our draft board. Gudra is not part of the Philadelphia Pidgeys for the first time ever. So I went ahead and held a little memorial here on this image for our fallen captain. And so yeah, it is a very bittersweet return here to Draft League for the Philadelphia Pidgeys, because this has never happened before. Gudra has always been a part of every version of every Philadelphia Pidgeys team. And so it is definitely going to leave a sizable hole in the Pidgeys organization. So, but unfortunately, the show must go on, and so I have here on the the meme a bunch of former Philadelphia Pidgeys to pay tribute to the fallen Captain Gudra here. We started drafting back in 2018, and it's obviously now 2025. So, what a streak! What a run! 9 draft leagues with Gudra as our number 2 draft pick, and yeah, just it wasn't in the cards this time, unfortunately. And so, yeah, it is what it is. I'd be lying if I said I didn't see this coming, just because, like I said, with it being one of the most highly sought after Pokemon on the draft board this time around, and with us having such a low number in the draft, it did not seem likely that we were going to get to keep Gudra. But yeah, I did want to at least call this out and note that this happened, and pay tribute to the Philadelphia Pidgeys' number 1 star, 9 seasons running. And yeah, it will not be the same without having Gudra on the team this time around. But we will do our best to honor the memory of the captain. So, having said all of that, I will now introduce you guys to your BHDL6 Philadelphia Pidgeys. So here is the list and the point values that go with them. For some reason, the graphics would not load on my phone, so they're just kind of glitched out there. But the names and the point values are the same. And as you can probably already see, there was a reason that I did in fact place those former Philadelphia Pidgeys in that previous graphic, and that is because they are all back this season for the BHDL6 Philadelphia Pidgeys. So. Kickstarting the draft off, as I often do, have a the plan to the extent that I ever have a plan in draft league. You want your first pick to really be something that is going to be a heavy hitter, something that could be a kill leader, something that could be a constant. Threat to your opponent no matter who they are or what team they're running. And so I decided that that Pokemon this season was going to be the returning Hawlucha as our number one draft pick. You may recall we did draft Hawlucha back in the BHDL Season 1, and Hawlucha at that point actually was able to be a Terra captain with free Terra, which was insane, insanely powerful, but unfortunately this time around Hawlucha will not be a Terra captain. But it is our number one draft pick, which gives you kind of an idea of what was available on this draft board. So, but Hawlucha is a great Pokemon, dual flying fighting type, of course, and great unburdened sweeper, but it also can do other things. It has access to utility moves, defog, really solid offensive typing, obviously, flying fighting. And, as an unburdened sweeper, it is not quite a Sneasler, but it is a damn good Pokemon. So, that was the plan, was to bring Hawlucha back and see if we can get it to shine this season as well. Since the power levels are tamped down, Hawlucha is a lot more of a commodity than on a regular draft board, a lot more of a threat. So. Definitely glad to bring that back. So, but moving along, for my number two pick, I wanted to draft something that could set terrain. So you guys know me; I really enjoy my unburdened terrain setting combinations. So, in seasons 1, 3, and 4 of the Battle Hub Draft League, I had some variation of this on the team. So in season 1 of the Battle Hub Draft League, we had Hawlucha and Pincurchin, I believe, was our only terrain setter. In season 3, we had Sneasler, and we had Pincurchin again, I believe. And then in season 4, we had our, I think we also had Arboliva in season 3. And then in season 4, we had Indeedee Male with Sneasler as the terrain setter and the Unburdened. So this time around, I decided to go with the only type of terrain that I've never actually used in Draft League, and that is the Misty terrain. So we've had Electric, Grass, and Psychic, but we haven't had Misty. So there's only one Pokemon in Generation 9 that has the ability to set the Misty terrain as an ability, and that of course is the Galarian Wheezing. So the dual type Poison Fairy, great tank, great move pool as well, great utility, great typing, of course, defensively, and a lot of useful abilities. Galarian Wheezing has, I think, some of, maybe arguably one of the best sets of abilities of any Pokemon in the game, I would say, because you can either have Levitate, which gives you that ground immunity, you can either have Neutralizing Gas, which turns the opponent's ability off, which is really useful, depending on the situation, and then you have Misty Terrain, of course, to set the terrain on the battlefield. So really happy that I could pick this thing up. I don't necessarily know if I wanted to pick it up as early as I did, but I didn't want to take any chances. I've been thinking about using this thing in draft for quite some time, and so I decided that I wanted to, that now was the time, and that I wanted to bring it in. So hopefully we can get Galarian Wheezing to do some good things here for us. But moving along to our third pick, at this point I decided I wanted to get a Pokemon that could kind of counteract my Psychic weakness, because I noticed that my top two Pokemon both have a pretty big Psychic weakness, and so I wanted to compensate for that. So I wanted a strong Dark type, and I also wanted a Pokemon that had some priority, Pokemon that could pivot, and I thought about it for quite some time and decided that it was time, after all these years, to go ahead and bring Incineroar back to the Philadelphia Pidgeys. As you may recall, we did draft Incineroar once before. That was in the NGDL4. That was actually the championship team for the Philadelphia Pidgeys, and Incineroar was a big part of that, actually. So it was pretty awesome to be able to snag Incineroar back this time around. Great Pokemon. Again, great move pool, great utility with its Intimidate and pivoting and priority, and just stab knockoffs always hurt. So just a really solid Pokemon all around. The typing is was really helpful for what I needed at the time as well. So pretty solid all around Pokemon. But that feeds us into our number 4 pick. And so for this pickup, I wanted to add more speed to the team because having an Unburdened Sweeper is all well and good. But normally your Unburdened Sweeper is going to be your fast and physical attacking Pokemon. But what about a fast special attacking Pokemon? So I wanted to get a fast electric type in this spot, and I found the mark with none other than Jolteon. So Jolteon's a Pokemon I've used a lot over the years, but never drafted, and picking it up was a kind of a no-brainer in a way because it's really fast and hits pretty hard on the special side. Um, has an okay move pool, but obviously those stab volt switches really hurt. It outspeeds a lot of Pokemon, which is nice. And then if it forces your opponent to run Scarf to try to outspeed it, but then you can just put a Scarf on Jolteon to outspeed them in return. So the speed tier with Jolteon is one of the highest, which is of course a big advantage. And so yeah, it's a really good Pokemon. Um, you know, kind of a glass cannon, but it fulfills its role well on teams. And so yeah, that was kind of the thought process there. Um, but that will go ahead and bring us to our number 5 pick. And so for the number 5 pick, I thought, I want to I want to start balancing out some weaknesses that I have on the team. I want to go ahead and grab a Pokemon that has a lot of resistances and immunities and very few weaknesses. And so I decided to go ahead and bring Gastrodon back to the Philadelphia Pidgeys in this slot. The Water Ground dual typing, really really solid when you pair that with Storm Drain for the water immunity with Gastrodon's ability. Um, Gives it a really good weakness to resistance immunity ratio. I think it's like 1 weakness and I think 6 resistances and immunities. So that's a really good ratio, obviously. Really solid Pokemon. Hazard setter. Hits hard enough on the special side, has good utility options as well. So Gastrodon is a pretty solid Pokemon all around, honestly. We used it in the Battle Hub Draft League Season 1, so one prior time we used it, and it went along with the Hawlucha pretty well, so decided to go ahead and bring that thing back for this season. So, that then brought us to our round 6 pick, and so at this point, I kind of wasn't sure where to go with the team at this point. I had a little bit of a I don't want to say crisis, but a crisis of conscience in the sense that I had a couple different ways I could go with the team at this point, and I decided, you know what, 2 ground immunities just isn't enough. 1 levitator just isn't enough. You guys know me. I love my levitators too, and so I wanted to get a levitator. I wanted to get another Pokemon that would have some perhaps fighting and psychic resistances. And so the Pokemon that fit this bill is another returning Philadelphia Pidgey, and that is Mesprit. So Mesprit was a Pokemon that I had back in, I believe it was the BHDL3, so one prior time. And so Mesprit is a really solid Pokemon, really like it. And yeah, big fan of Mesprit. It is definitely the shunned one of the Lake Trio in from Sinnoh Generation 4 because it is the one with the middle stats. So Azelf obviously has the superior offensive stats. Uxie has the superior defensive stats, and Mesprit kind of stuck in the middle. Which is why I think it's always the cheapest on draft boards. It's always the last to be drafted if ever it gets drafted. And so, you know what? I was pretty impressed with Mesprit when I had it a couple of seasons ago in Battle Hub Draft League. I didn't get to bring it to all that many games, but it did put quite a bit of work in a couple of games that I did bring it. So I figure this season I might have more of an opportunity to use it, so I wanted to give it another shot. So and it also did fix some type balancing issues that I was having planning out the rest of my team at that point. So So yeah, glad to have that thing back. Very, very versatile Pokemon as well. Very, very insanely wide move pool. Obviously, pure Psychic typing is whatever, but pairing it with Levitate really helps that as well. So, um, but moving on to the seventh pick, at this point in the draft, I realized, I don't have any Terra captains. So one of the things about this draft is if you take a look at our draft board, good Terra captains were very, very few and far between. And so, to my surprise, probably about round 3 or 4, people started picking up Terra captains. And by the time it got back to me, a lot of the Terra captains that I had already had my eye on were already gone at that point, that early in the draft. So, at that point, I kind of just kicked the can down the road, and I was like, I'm going to get a couple more solid additions to the team, and I'm just going to kind of stew on what Pokemon I want to be my Terra captains. So when it came time to round 7, I was like, I can't kick the can down the road any longer. I really need to pick a Terra captain. And so one thing that I wanted was a really good, or at least as good as possible, Steel type on this team. And unfortunately, there are not that many premier steel types in this lower tier draft board, and so most of them I think were picked up pretty early, and so there weren't a lot of them left to choose from. So by the time you got down to the second half of the draft, there wasn't a lot left. But um, I went ahead and I drafted Berserker in this spot, and the reason that I did that, the pure steel type Meowth, Galarian Meowth evolution slash, Meowth kind of a alternate evolutionary line. Um, I went ahead and drafted this thing for a couple of reasons. So it's got priority. It's actually hits deceptively hard with the Tough Claws ability. Has a pretty decent move pool as well. And then with the mono steel typing and a pretty solid defensive stat, it's actually not too bad on the physical side. But having it as a Terra Captain, obviously, I can kind of do some things with that and, hopefully make something happen with this guy. I will say that I have used this in casual battles quite a bit in Generation 8 and 9, and it actually does work out pretty well. So, as far as Terra types for this thing, I know you can't see them on the screen because the pictures were glitched out for some reason, so I just cut them off. But the Terra types I assigned to start for Berserker are Water, Fairy, and Stellar. So those are the 3 that are assigned to Berserker at this point. Obviously, I can change them later if I want. But yeah, I'm very interested to see if I can get this thing to do something. Hopefully, I can. So. But yeah, that's going to feed us into round 8 of the draft. And in round 8, I was thinking, I kind of really want to get a ghost type because for those of you who might remember, one thing that I usually fall short of on these draft league teams is getting either a good ghost type or any ghost type at all, honestly. So I thought, you know what? I don't want that to be the case this time around, so I want to go ahead and get a good enough ghost type this time around. And so I decided to this time pick up for the 3rd time in the history of the Pidgeys, Trevenant. So you have to be a real OG for this channel to remember Trevenant on a draft league team because it has been a very long time since I drafted Trevenant, all the way back in I think the NGDL3 and the RODL3 I drafted Trevenant, if I'm not mistaken. So really solid grass ghost type, which is a good typing defensively. Its stats are pretty solid as well. Its attack stat is pretty solid. Has a really good move pool as well, and some interesting abilities that can help it out too. So Trevenant, I'm really looking forward to using that thing again. It's a Pokemon that really gets overshadowed in the higher tiers, but then when you move down to the lower tiers, it really gives it a chance to shine. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if I can make Trevenant do something this time around. It did pretty well in the other draft leagues I had it, if I remember correctly, to the extent that I didn't do that well. I don't believe in either of those draft leagues, but I think Trevenant itself did an okay job. So we'll see what we can do with it in this one. So, but of course, that will bring us to our 9th pick, second to last, so we're almost there. And so for the 9th pick, I decided that one thing that I was still kind of missing a little bit from my team was some more speed. So I really only had a couple of speedy Pokemon at this point. I wanted to get one more, and so after looking at was on the board, I also wanted to get another potential hazard remover too, because you can never have too many of those. And so I decided to go ahead and grab Mousehold in this position. I did have the points left over that I could grab another relatively high point value pick, and so I went with the Mousehold because Mousehold is actually a Pokemon I've considered drafting several times before in the past. Mono normal type from Generation 9, of course, and very interesting Pokemon with its Technician ability. It's kind of like a modernized version of Chinchino. Um, which is a good Pokemon in its own right. And Mousehold, one of the few Pokemon with access to Tidy Up, which is pretty nice. The only Pokemon with access to Population Bomb, which hits like a truck. And so, yeah, I'm pretty happy to grab this thing finally after thinking about grabbing it for a couple of seasons now. Um, hoping I can get it to do something. I think it will be a nice alternate for if I don't want to bring Hawlucha. It'll be a nice potential physical sweeper if I either think Hawlucha has a bad matchup or I just don't want to bring it. So yeah, I'm interested to see how Mousehold will play out for the team. So. But that brings us to our final pick of the draft. And so our final pickup here was going to be our second Terra Captain. And so at this point in the draft, I had pretty much type balanced everything the way I wanted it to. I had drafted pretty much everything that I wanted to, so I was kind of at a loss. I was really racking my brain as to like what I could grab for my second Terra Captain. There really weren't too many options left on the board, but one thing that I felt like I was missing with the team a little bit was priority. So I have a couple of Pokemon that can have some priority moves on here. Um, but priority was something that I felt like the team was missing, and also certain utility options were also missing, I think, from the team. So for the last pickup, I decided that I wanted to draft a prankster user, and I found what I was looking for in Volbeat. So Volbeat this is the first time I've drafted it, and being a mono bug type, not great but not horrible defensively, but it is also a Terra Captain, and the Terra types I've assigned to it are at this point Bug, Ground, and Rock. So Volbeat is a pretty interesting Pokemon for all the utility options it gets with Prankster. Um, and yeah, it can do some other stuff too. If you put some investment into it, it can hit. I don't want to say hard, but hard enough on the physical side actually. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting Pokemon. So having a prankster user is always a plus, I think, and it's more of a countermeasure to kind of thwart your opponent's plans. So yeah, I'm very interested to give this thing a shot this season as well, and see if I can make something happen with it. It might be good to support the rest of the team, or thwart potential setups or sweeps on my opponent's side. So um, definitely interested to seeing what Terra Volbeat can do in action. So that is the BHDL6 Philadelphia Pidgeys starting lineup there, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Really quick, we are though going to go ahead and briefly take a look at our opponents for this season now. And so as you can see, there we go. It is a 9-week season, and here are our opponents for this season. So week one, which will be coming up within the next week, actually pretty fast, is going to be a coach we are very familiar with. That is the notorious HIM, or as some would say, the notorious HYM. And so yeah, we've played him a bunch of times here in Scarlet and Violet. I want to say we've played him about maybe 5 times, I think, if memory serves me correctly. So yeah, we played him a bunch of times. He's a good guy. He's a fellow PokeTuber, and he's a good battler as well. So seasoned BHDL player as well. So it'll be interesting to write the next chapter with him there. In week one, definitely going to be an interesting game. We've played him several times in the Battle Hub Draft League and a few outside of it as well. So that's going to be an interesting one. Following that up, in week two, we're going to be taking on Cody, who is a player we've never faced before, actually. He is no stranger to draft leagues or to competitive battles as well, though. He's pretty active in the servers on Discord, and he was in the last season of the Battle Hub Draft League where I wasn't. So it'll be, I think, interesting to have a first time encounter with him. Um, he is a pretty big Fontaine hater, so hopefully we can rectify that situation and you know um, defend the honor of the Fontaine against Cody here. We'll see how that plays out, but um, that feeds us to week 3, where we are going to face Adam, also known as Prater from the Discord server. Inside jokes for life. And yeah, we've had I want to say like maybe one encounter with him in the past. I think we played him all the way back in the Battle Hub Draft League Season 2. I think we played a Praetor where he got the better of us. Yeah, that was our dark season in Season 2, and he definitely was one of the many people who defeated us and kind of made that season as bad as it was. So maybe we'll get a chance to get one back on him. Who knows? Very, very experienced draft leaguer and competitive battler. Very solid player as well. So definitely not going to be an easy one. Speaking of not easy, coming in at week 4, once again, actually, same opponent from week 4 as we had in season 4, and that is, of course, our good buddy from Discord, Abomination. And kind of a shout out that I'm going to give him here is he is also the creator of the brand new Philadelphia Pidgeys logo that I kind of forgot to mention that you guys may or may not have noticed, but we're going to take a look at it again in a second. So he whipped that up for us and modified our existing logo to a new one. So big shout out to him for that. Very solid player, guy we've played numerous times on Scarlet and Violet and in games past as well. So draft leagues past as well too. So really, really solid player and solid guy. Um, Coming in at week 5, then we are going to be taking on Brandon. So Brandon P. This is an interesting one because as I mentioned before, this is our first season of Draft League in 10 seasons that we do not have Gudra on our team. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why. This man is the reason. He is the culprit. He is the root of all evil, the perpetrator of this heinous crime. Brandon P. It's always the ones you least suspect, everybody, because of all the people that I thought who were going to take Gudra away from us, away from the Pidgeys, this guy was probably the last one that I would have suspected. So we do get to play him week 5. Haven't decided if that's a good thing or not yet, but we're going to see how that plays out. It's going to be interesting either way. Um, Week 6, we're gonna face Danger Dave, who is an older PokeTuber, I believe. We've never played him before, and this is his debut in the Battle Hub Draft League as well. So yeah, he is a pretty solid player from what I've heard, and yeah, he's a PokeTuber as well. So that should be an interesting one for sure. Week 7, we have Pokemaster, or I should say Chris, also known as Pokemaster88 from the Discord server, sorry. Another individual who we've played numerous times on Scarlet and Violet here. We've played him a lot of times. And so, yeah, we go back and forth with him. So that should be another interesting one to see if we can, write the next chapter of that. Tit for tat exchange with Pokemaster, another really experienced draft leaguer and solid player all around. And then in weeks 8 and 9, we're going to have some more new coaches we've never played before. We got DRVR in week 8. We've never played him before. Don't know much about him as a player or as a coach. I know he was in the last season of the Battle Hub Draft League, the one that I was not in. Yeah, I don't know too much about him, but I'm interested to find out. And then week 9, we're going to be taking on Zeus, another. This guy, actually, I believe this is his first season here in the Battle Hub Draft League. So that's going to be an interesting one, too. Don't really know anything about him as well, but interested to find out. So there you have it. That is the lineup of coaches we're going to be facing down in season 6 of the Battle Hub Draft League. Definitely a stacked roster of talented battlers, no doubt, and it is going to be, as always, an uphill battle for us to climb into the playoffs once again. So a few closing thoughts here. So, I'm excited for this new season of the league, as I said a couple times already, so I won't, beat a dead horse any further. But it is bittersweet because we've lost Goudreau, we've lost our streak, so it is kind of bittersweet for that reason. But I am excited to be back. As you can see, we've got the new logo here. I say new in quotation marks because it is the same as the old logo. We just traded one of the Pidgeys for a shiny Pidgey. I thought that was kind of cool, and I do like the updated logo. It is a little bit symbolic too because I kind of figured that we were not going to be able to secure our beloved Goudreau once again here in this season. So it is kind of a changing of the guard moment here at the Philadelphia Pidgeys draft league team here. Um, so new logo, new roster completely. We don't have any Pokemon from our previous draft league on this team as well. Um, as far as the team itself, I am pretty happy with the way that it came together. I will say there are a couple of things that I wish I could have done differently. Because I will be honest with you guys, of all of the draft leagues I've participated in, this one was the one where I shot from the hip the most. Everything was very kind of just. I didn't put a ton of thought or planning into what I got, although you know, rarely do I ever. That's just my style. But this time around, I really didn't. I really, as they say, shot from the hip more with my selections. So I am definitely going to be open to potentially making some transactions this season. Although I know a lot of the times in these draft leagues, I don't end up using transactions or making transactions. But I think this time around, I just might. But that remains to be seen. I am hopeful for this team. I do like it. I do wish I could have gotten a couple of better priority users, perhaps. I do think I could have gotten a couple of, maybe better type combos, although everything is type balanced pretty well. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the team. There are a couple picks, that we'll have to wait and see on, but for the most part, I'm happy with the team. I'm excited to use it. I'm interested to see what we can make happen this season. I'm really hoping at this point that I haven't lost my edge because not only has it been, a break from draft league for me, but I haven't done much of any competitive battling these past couple of months either. So I'm really going to have a crash course in the next week or so, trying to get back into it to prepare for my week one game here, and hopefully it's not an embarrassment. So yeah, I'm hoping that I haven't lost my edge, and that it's just like riding a bike that we can get back on and just go get it done. But yeah, looking forward to the new season. One other thing I do want to mention is that because of time constraints, but some of you may have been wondering about this, but because of time constraints, I won't really be bringing back the captain's table recaps as I have in the past for the draft league seasons. Just don't have the time to do it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like a. I think what I'm gonna do is I'll probably just do like a maybe a mid-season review after like week 4 or something, and then like an end season review like after week 8, but before week 9. I might do something like that, or I might do like mini reviews by myself, kind of the way I did back in like seasons 1, 2, and 3, or maybe yeah, I think I did them in those seasons. I might just do like a weekly review for myself, but I won't really have the time to put on like a big show that I did in the last season, where I had the different guests and made it kind of like a long podcast where we talked about all the games. I don't think I'll have time to do that this season, although there is someone else I believe who's going to be filling that void, taking up the picking up the torch, so to speak, for that. Um, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure what I'll do with recaps or stuff like that. I might do like some full blown podcast length ones for, I say, like the mid season and the end season, something like that. But that remains to be seen. But I'm excited to get back into it here. Excited to get back into competing, and hoping that we can put on some good battles and get some wins and make it back to playoffs. That's what it's about at the end of the day here. So Hopefully we can make it happen. Hopefully we can do well. So, but that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and/or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new videos in the future. Of course, coming your way in not all that much time will be week 1 of the BHDL6. So stay tuned for that. That's it, and we'll see you next time.